What about the Supra sucks?
You have JDM tax, which is on that particular car is absolutely obscene. You have a handful of people that have hoarded parts and now are trying to rob everybody for just mediocre shit.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what you're looking for, it either takes 6 months to get it or they charge an obscene amount of money for it.
Mm-hmm.
The V160 tranny is like made out of glass and it's $30,000.
Oh, that
So
blew my
like
mind.
if you want problems always, that's the car you get, man.
I don't want peace. I want problems always.
Yeah, buy JDM.
Welcome back to another episode of Modify with TrickFactory Customs. If this is the first time watching, my name is Elvis.
Tim?
I'm Rob.
And, you didn't use the weird person
No,
name
because
today.
you guys made a thing out of it and now it's weird.
Okay.
It'll happen again.
Yes, we are an automotive podcast. We talk about cars because we are a custom shop based here in British Columbia, Canada. And on this episode, we are going to be discussing cool cars that suck to own. And what brought about this topic was Rob and I were having a little conversation, a little tete-a-tete. Is that what they call it?
It sounds fancy.
Yes.
Jeez, I don't know.
Glad I wasn't a part of that.
And he was talking about his car. He has what do you have, Rob?
Well, I happen to be the owner of an E60 M5.
Yeah.
Which I absolutely love. It's a 2008. I love the car. Love it to death. And
It is noted for its V10.
absolutely destroys my bank account. So
Yes. Did anything else come with the V10? Or was just the M5?
Well, the M5 and the M6, the E60
Oh,
and
the
the E61.
M6. Yes.
They came with the 5-liter V10,
Yes.
and it was a glorious engine.
Sounds
Produces tremendous amounts of power, glorious sounds, and I believe it was the last of the latest, the last of the greatest
Yep.
NA engines ever made.
completely agree with that. And so,
But it comes with a lot of issues.
which we're going to
that,
discuss in the episode. Don't give them too much.
We don't want to. Okay,
Yeah, come
sorry,
on,
leave
man.
them hanging. Yeah, sorry.
And
yeah.
so we're going to be talking about that and some more cars that are amazing but suck to own. And so, yes, before we dive into that topic of conversation, how has the week been? What's been happening? SEMA prep, SEMA crunch,
Prep, SEMA crunch, all that kind of stuff. That's about it.
more details, more
More details.
Can we share more details?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we've discussed what we're building in the past.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just more of that, just getting things together. Everything's sort of coming together in one place, and now we just got to do all the work.
So I imagine, like, if this is someone's first time listening or watching us, they're probably like on the edge of their seat, going, "Come
What
on,
are
man!
you guys talking about?
What are you even saying?"
Exactly.
We got to leave them a little bit, a reason to keep listening.
Yeah.
So, basically we're building an EV G-Wagon for SEMA, and then, that's basically all I've been doing.
Yeah, you're pretty deep in it now.
Like now is
This
just,
is so
well,
as
actually
of
this
right
week
now.
we just kind of passed the sucky part of it.
What part was the
So
sucky
there's
part?
been a lot of like planning and organizing, and then this week was all removing all the stuff we don't need. So it was literally like days of grinding and cutting and removing, and now we're getting to the fun part of start putting stuff together.
Yeah.
So like the last week, you just pulled the body right off the chassis, and I don't know where this vehicle came from, but there's some heavy rust.
I think it
Crusty
came
boy.
from Switzerland or Austria.
It's pretty
I think it was
intense.
Switzerland.
Like everything looks structurally sound. Everything looks really, really good. It's a good example of this vehicle, but it's like a crusty layer of rust over the whole thing. And we just happen to have these amazing air tools that are like absolutely amazing for
So
removing rust like this. So they're called a needle scaler, and it might be something else, but that's what we call it, a needle scaler, and it's amazing.
So
And
it's been
that's
a whole
been
week of that
all
makes
week.
a very unique sound.
All week,
So annoying.
zip cutting,
Hours on
sawzalling, needle scaling,
I think
and
we
Yes.
probably went through, I don't know, 20 grinding discs.
Yeah, you were not happy looking.
No.
You come
It was-
into the office and you're just like coming to get water, and it's like, it's metal everywhere. Like the amount of shavings or the amount of dust.
Because all the way they mounted all the brackets on that G-Wagon is it's all plug welded. So there's no real way to cut it off. So you have to literally grind down through the metal of all the plug welds to remove all the unnecessary brackets, and it was just, it sucked.
Yeah, they're not little plug welds. They're like big
boys.
like 1 inch diameter or bigger yet, rosette sort of style. They're
3-inch
massive.
long slotted welds.
You can't drill them out. You can't do nothing. You literally have to, like he said, just grind off the parent metal all the way to the point where it's gone.
That sucks.
It sucks.
Yeah.
So that's been like a several days of that.
Almost
that
every
sort of
day,
action.
literally.
Plus, then we had a bunch of just shitty parts. Very, very expensive parts that were shitty looking. So Rob spent most of his week detailing and redressing, re-welding, getting those parts to a place that he can add to the chassis that I've been grinding and welding. And it's a lot. But at least now we're kind of getting to mock up some of those big pieces, and it looks pretty cool. It's going to be pretty rad.
I think we're 7 weeks away, from SEMA.
I think the hardest part of all this is making it look OEM.
That is really difficult. Because in our shop we go so far beyond what OEM looks like.
Yeah.
So we're having to dial it back, and it's a completely different design language.
I think it's almost more difficult.
I think so too.
It
really is
harder.
Yeah.
Like you look at some OEM stuff and you're just like, cut it off. Let's make it custom. But now trying to make
the
something
OEM
that's
part
so
work.
crazy custom to look like it came like that is really difficult.
Yeah.
So all the stuff that we've had to employ has been super cool, like 3D scanning and modeling and designing, and then laser cutting and making stuff look stock has been pretty fun, but it's definitely a lot more challenging. It's a completely different mindset.
Yeah.
So it's been pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. When I saw the difference in weldage, because I don't know, not weldage, that's not a word, but like you were saying earlier, the welds that came on, or the way this thing was put together, they didn't even look structurally safe. Because you showed me the before. Whoa. You showed me the before of what it looked like and for what the stuff cost, like the suspension components.
Yeah, so
it's not. It wasn't very
just dig in just a touch. So these suspension components, these are dual shock coilover relocation upper mounts.
Conversion kit essentially to take a standard G-Wagon and turn it into a 4x4 square.
Yeah. So we had I think our customer directly bought these things and had them shipped from wherever they came from, but
Germany.
They cost a
fortune. Yeah, so
for them.
expensive.
And when they arrived, we were all just kind of dumbfounded. What are we looking at here? Is this it? This looks like it looked like trash. There was a whole bunch of cold weld, and this the material choice that they used.
The material wasn't even good quality.
It was super sus, super questionable. Every profiled plate piece on it was unfinished, sharp edge, just straight off of the profiling machine, I think this was plasma.
Yeah.
And it was just trash. And we're building a pretty high-end piece of product here. So we had to fully commit to completely refinishing and essentially re-welding the whole setup before we can even install it into the chassis.
So crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The first time in my career that I've actually taken the time to write a letter to the manufacturer saying, if this is the best that you can do, you should stop doing it.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was so bad. There's lots of stuff that you buy that is inexpensive. You buy it because you're going to modify. We've talked about it in the past. I'm going to buy this one because I intend to modify and refinish it anyway. So there's no point in paying for something that's, crazy when you're going to cut it or weld it or modify it or whatever. But these were so bad. Absolutely terrible. And for what they cost, it cost $20,000.
Whoo!
So for it to show up looking like scrap metal, it was crazy. And I was this sat here for, I don't know, it's been here for 3 months, and I couldn't let it go. I finally had to just tell them how I felt.
Yeah.
But based on my customer's experience with the same company, he's don't anticipate any kind of a response.
Wow.
So it's
because even their customer service and all part of the interaction from the
Just
story
been
he was
terrible.
talking about has just been absolutely brutal. So it makes me wonder if like these are the only people in the world that do this thing, and
think they
if
are.
that's the case, we're gonna start making these pieces,
Yeah. Sick.
and we're gonna do a way better job than what these things are, because these are high end vehicles that deserve a high end product.
Yeah, and what
You know,
for
for-
what they're
for-
charging you, that's a
Yeah.
lot of money, man.
And considering what you're putting it on,
Yeah.
they're made specifically for G-Wagons.
It's not for like
It's out of,
bucks.
Yeah,
Yes.
this isn't some kid shit, you know. So
and
anyway,
you're paying a lot of money, like a lot. Like if you're getting some kind of discounted rate, maybe, but this is like that's a lot of money, man. So
so yeah. Anyways, we're digging into it. We're into it now.
Yeah.
It's going to be a nice vehicle when it's done.
Awesome.
We're really
So-
looking forward to seeing it come
But on the
together.
opposite end of that, we're dealing with a company like Revolt for our engine management and our power plant, and it's like a work of art.
Yeah,
It looks so good.
Like it looks so good. So I mean, now that all the pieces are starting to come together in one place, it's starting to look pretty unreal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
don't hate us because it's EV, but if you're going to build an EV, this is the
How
way you
you
want to
do
do
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to look amazing. So, with that said, we're just going to dive into the topic of today, which again is cool cars that suck to own. And there's a lot of dimensions to this topic, or that we're going to take this. The first one being, let's resume the conversation of your M5, and then we'll dive into some stuff about Supra and things. But yeah, which is going to be interesting. But yes, so your M5, just we've given a brief idea of what it is. Last naturally aspirated V10 M5, the only V10 that BMW stuffed into like that chassis, E60.
the E60
Yeah.
and the E61, the M6 were the two that came with this engine, and it's an amazing engine. Like it truly is. It's 10 individual throttle bodies. I mean, you can just imagine sounds awesome.
It sounds so good.
It makes tremendous power for what it is.
How much?
It's-
Like 5?
It
something?
makes I believe the specs are like 507 horsepower and like somewhere around 385 foot-pounds of torque, which actually isn't a lot, and it's a big car. So 385 foot-pounds of torque gets you moving, but it's definitely better suited to something more like highway use
Okay.
than it would be for, say, stoplight to stoplight sort of street car.
Yeah. So more like mid-range torque then?
It's
Or-
a grand touring car, right? Like it's
I think
meant.
they had the Autobahn in mind when
Yeah.
they made
Oh,
that.
I see.
Once you get the car out on the highway, it is quite possibly the best vehicle I've ever driven in my entire life. I've been fortunate enough to drive a few, not a lot, but a few, and this car is actually it's outstanding.
Yeah.
I absolutely love this car, and it was a dream car to have. I've owned it now for coming up on like 7 years now. I think I've had this car, and I dailied it consistently for quite a while. But yo, and,
I'm a Viper,
If you're watching
man.
this video,
yeah,
if you're watching this on video, there's a Viper that, if you don't know, if you're not watching this on
my
video, we have these what did you call die-cast
Yeah.
cars that we put, and there's like a whole
Dude.
3 shelves or 6 shelves of them behind the camera, and I selected a Dodge Viper today, but it looks
Because
like
it was terrible to own.
yeah,
They're not
we're
very
gonna
good.
get to that later,
now
but
it
it's
just fell
literally
apart.
falling apart. The back wheel has come off
no.
in Tim's hand. So yes, keep on trying to fix it while we're discussing the
It needs some glue,
topic.
I think.
So,
Yeah.
so you were talking. So you still own that car?
yeah. I still own the car,
But
yeah.
there's a huge problem, which is like it's not it's not known for being the most reliable engine ever.
People have said this. I mean, if you go on forums, you talk to people a lot. It's kind of like falls prey to the whole BMW M motor sort of vibes. Like everybody talks about how rod bearings and Vanos or whatever. All the different mine's got the SMG engine transmission.
So the
I mean,
automatic, yeah.
I chose a 2008 model instead of the 06, 07, which were way cheaper because apparently the The factory had resolved a bunch of issues
Okay.
related to the SMG, so that's why I chose that one. I paid more for it, specifically for that. And I never had any issues with my vehicle. I've never, ever had any of those issues with that vehicle at all.
Yet.
No, but I think that I'd say BMWs are notoriously the worst maintained vehicle owners out there.
I think that that's probably a big part of it. Like if you think about it, because most BMW people, you know, it's the ultimate driving machine. So they get driven hard and like kind of abused. Like I know other people that have owned the same E60 M5s, and they talk about how they just beat the shit out of them all the time. And like, man, like there's just doing an oil change on this is like clearly like, you know, if you do an oil change on any one of your cars is like a really big deal. So you should definitely put a lot of focus in that. And an M series car definitely falls way up there. You should do that.
10 liters or 14 liters or something.
It's
What?
It's like almost 10. It's almost 10 liters. But like
crazy.
it's like very specialized.
Like 0.50.
It's
or something.
very specialized
one of those.
oil that and it's very expensive to do.
Liquid
I mean,
moly. But you were also telling me too that you're almost scared to drive it because you don't know when it's
there's
gonna go
that,
wrong.
Right? Because
when
you can't help but
it's
like
gonna go wrong.
feel the fear, like, you know, oh shit, man, like if rod bearings is that big, is that big
that's
of a
big
deal? Like,
yeah.
And every single time you start your car, like, is that going to be a thing? Like, I hope not, because I'm not in a position for that to be a thing.
Yeah, I want
But-
one so bad.
Yeah,
You can have one.
No, I'm not gonna.
I got mine's for sale.
I know you've tried to sell me that thing so many times. I'm like, no, I'm not ready.
It's like a family car.
I know
I'm not trying to pawn my car on anybody.
It's for sale.
I have other plans in mind.
So if you're interested, contact Rob at media@trickfactory.com. So
Yeah. Anyways, but it's a great car. It really is a great car. But with these kind of issues that kind of loom in the back of your mind, it kind of sucks to own it. You know.
well, that's awesome. You haven't had any bad things go on with it, so that's pretty awesome.
But some of the things that I have actually had to deal with on this car, because I'm, you know, it hasn't been without fault. It seems like it punishes me every single time I park the car for the winter or for any kind of period of time. It punishes me, and it says, "Hey, man, you're supposed to drive me, not park me." And every time I go to start driving it again, I've had on a couple of occasions now, like some of my coil packs have gone bad just from sitting.
Interesting.
You know, battery drain issues, and that's a bit of a thing. It's just those types of things suck.
Minor things though, like they're
They
easily fixed.
are.
No, not battery drain, but like
we have a shop.
yeah.
And, you know, I can scan my car, I can do all the things, and it's easy enough for me to deal with it. But if you were a regular kind of person that had zero ability working on a car, and you were like, oh, I have to go to BMW for this, you're going to be in and out of there all the time. Like I've taken my car to BMW for servicing because of the major service and stuff, and it's f***ing expensive, man. And if you're the kind of person that can't maintain your own stuff,
yeah.
this is a deal breaker.
Yeah, because people don't realize it's what people forget about buying these cars. Even though they're relatively affordable now, they're still what, like $60,000-$70,000 cars from like new. So their parts. What did they cost new?
More than that.
It was over 100.
New, dang, dude. Oh, well,
Like, I didn't pay that,
Yeah,
but-
so no, that's what I'm saying. So
But no, so it was a real car, and like I think with this particular car, it's like a legitimate race car
engine.
and transmission, and like the whole drive line of this car is like race car.
So everything is still expensive, regardless of even if it's a 15-year-old car now.
Yeah.
Is it 15 years old? Close,
It's
getting
almost,
there.
It's almost 14.
Yeah, but that's something that a lot of people like. That's why you also see a lot of them they have their engines blown, or if you see them on marketplace, a lot of times they're like have rod bearing issues or something, or they've not been well maintained, like you were talking about earlier. But
Yeah.
so that's one of the cars that sucks to own, or that would suck to own. So
It's a love hate.
yeah.
Yeah, it truly is.
So next car, Tim.
What? Oh, the Supra?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Supra. I don't personally own one, but I think my experience with having to fix one, it would suck to own.
So what about the Supra sucks?
I've never really been a fan of it to start with.
So the
Like,
Mark
okay.
IV Supra
the Mark
Turbo.
IV Supra,
Yes.
Supra is like, I've never been a fan of it right from it was new. It's just not my thing. But it's, you have JDM tax, which is on that particular car is absolutely obscene.
So
Like, it
for-
doesn't even make sense.
For people that do not know what JDM tax is, what is JDM tax?
I think you have a handful of people that have hoarded parts and now are trying to rob everybody for just mediocre And then, like, yeah, no matter what you're looking for, it either takes 6 months to get it or they charge an obscene amount of money for it. And a lot of this stuff is, if you're not educated or willing to take the time to find out other places that particular part was used, you're going to pay, like really, really pay. Because they almost hold them ransom. And if your car is down and you can't drive it without that part, you got to pay. Like, I think there's a company, I can't remember the name of it, say like this one that we worked on, we had to do a clutch and stuff in it. It was harder for me to get a stock clutch or with the original transmission than it was to get one for a Tremec. And I was like, why is that? That's so crazy. And then I started digging, and then you find out that the V160 tranny is like made out of glass,
Oh, wow.
and it's $30,000.
Oh, wait,
US,
what?
which
the
means-
transmission?
Yeah, which means nobody puts it back in there, so they all change it. So chasing a clutch down for it was a pain. It needed an alternator. I think the alternator ended up being $600 or $700 for it. It needed a power steering pump. I couldn't even get one. It was back
and
ordered
how
for
long
over
did we
a
have
year.
to wait for that?
Wow.
Almost a year to find a power steering pump, and then I ended up going on multiple deep dives and finding out that it was the same power steering pump out of like an IS
Camry
300
or something? Yeah.
And then I got one from like ordered it. It was like $180.
Wow.
Yeah.
But trying to get one, I couldn't even get one. So you can go on YouTube. There's 100 different videos on how to rebuild one and all that kind of nonsense. And then just even the most simple parts, like just maintenance stuff, you can't even get them.
Wow.
So it was like, and then a lot of these things, of course, got modified because they sort of came through that time period. So just finding regular stuff for them, like the, you know, different sensors and maintenance sort of things, it's like the prices are crazy.
Yeah, that blows my mind because whenever, and it's the same thing too with the R34 GTR,
Yeah,
or like all
Skylines
the
are
GTR
exactly the same.
Skylines, they all have that JDM tax, and that makes it suck to own. Because now even the Skyline, they're all like 6-figure cars. Like the GTR versions are all 6-figure cars. And so that, what else? I don't think the RX-7 is there yet, but I know it's heading in that
I would
direction.
say the RX-7 is going to be
like the
worse
cheapest
just
one.
because of the
Oh,
road
really?
rate. Nobody wants to touch this
Oh, I
stuff.
guess so. I didn't think
Like
about
we
the
have
road
two
rate.
motors out right now, SR20 and an RB, and we're like 7 months waiting for them to be rebuilt.
Wow.
Like I tried to send a diff out for an S15 to get it rebuilt, and nobody wanted to touch it, which is crazy. I had to get all the parts, bearings, seals, every single part and piece before anybody would even consider it.
And why? You would think that it's a popular platform for like drifters and all that. You would think people want to touch it though.
No, nobody wants to deal with that stuff. So then that causes the prices to go way up. And then if you do have it and it's unobtainium, then they don't need to juice you. They just do because you can. That's why you see these Skylines are $150,000, $250,000, $300,000. It's like, try buying the stuff and you'll find out fast. But the thing that bothers me the most is they're not really good cars. Like they're not good cars.
What about that? It's not good.
They suck.
Oh my god.
Like they're not fast by any means.
No.
Unless they're built. Like sure, you could build a 2J, you could build an RB, but by the time you get that much dough into it, there's 10 other cars I'd rather own. Like you get inside of Supra, it feels like a Camry. It's like the cheapest, shittiest interior. Like it's terrible.
But it has a nice like driver focused dash and all that. It's like angled
man,
towards the
everybody's
driver.
got their thing.
Come on, it
Do
looks
it, do it.
sick.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But like every
For the
little
time
component,
when
and
everything else
in it
sucked.
is-
But now everything is so awesome. So like, yeah, 95, that might have been cool. But
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was still even really basic in 1995.
yeah, people complained about it then.
Yeah, it was like Tim said. It was like a Toyota Camry.
But it was still expensive back then too. Like it was
Yeah,
the Supra was an
which is
expensive
part of
car.
why it was. That's why it's an issue.
Yeah.
It's
But-
like it was like a pretty awesome car in its time, but it left a little bit to be desired as far as like the fit and finish and things like that. They definitely were not great.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I'm still a
for
huge
what they cost
JDM
now.
boy. I'm a huge JDM boy.
Oh, they're cool
I
cars.
I think they're super cool too.
Yeah.
I just don't think they're worth what they're charging.
Yeah, the Supra definitely not. I don't think it's worth.
And then the
that
only way
much.
you can get them to those values is by putting all the stock stuff back in them. Because nobody wants modified ones,
yeah, which
like
is
at all.
crazy.
So like chasing it backwards to try to put it back to stock to get the values up. And of course, we're talking about money, and people are going to get all butthurt, but it's just the reality of it. Like you can't even get the normal stuff. Sure, you can buy all the aftermarket stuff you want, but simple stuff like a power steering pump is like, you can't get it, which makes it a headache. You got 1,000 horsepower built Supra, and it's the power steering pump's bad,
Just
or a
replace the whole
steering
rack.
rack, or some diff bearings, and like all this kind of stuff. Like I think we just ordered disc bearings for the S15. They're what, $600, and they had to come from Australia.
Wow.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that
So
blew my
like if
mind.
you want problems always, that's the car you get, man.
I don't want peace. I want problems always.
Yeah, buy JDM. You'll have all the problems you can deal with.
I'll still buy JDM though. I love problems. So yeah. But so JDM, we know the JDM tax is a thing. Another car which I'm literally staring at now that I think is huge with, it's a cool car, but it sucks to own. I haven't owned one, but this is just from knowing what the car is a Dodge Viper, or specifically a Gen 1 Dodge Viper. So you really want a Dodge Viper,
Not a Gen 1.
not a Gen 1. Okay.
No, I would
Okay.
want like a much later Gen 1. I don't think they got good until they started putting like stability management, all
Okay,
those type
yeah,
of things
yeah.
in it, ABS, like all these sort of things that we've come to that make that car a lot more manageable.
Yeah.
And the early one just wasn't a very good car. Like it wasn't. It was a crazy car for the time. Its aesthetic is amazing. The power plant was amazing, but the actual chassis and the dynamics of the car were super terrible. Like they were not good at all. The thing tries to kill you every time you get in it. And I think that's all the way up to like the 4th gen is trying to kill you.
Yeah.
Like it's probably one of the scariest and worst cars I've ever driven.
Oh, okay.
Like I did not feel comfortable in it.
That's interesting.
Like it's when you get out of it, you're like you feel like you know.
The adrenaline, like, oh, I almost
it's like,
died.
oh shit! That thing,
It's like a
thing is-
celebration of life.
You're like, I'm alive.
Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting. But if you look at this one now, for example, oh, I mean, the tire is kind of,
Oh,
it's kind of broken.
that's
like,
that's what actually happens in real life. I think.
yeah, the literal tire just fell off, which is a perfect. We honestly did not plan this. Again, if you're not watching the video, you need to check it out because it shows the tire broken. And another thing to notice is this Gen 1 does not have door handles.
Or windows.
Oh, I didn't even notice it had windows.
It had some like plastic,
have
like
windows.
MG style door card thing that you put in there if you got caught in the rain.
That's
Did
so
it actually?
funny.
I did not know
Didn't
that.
have, it doesn't have side glass.
Basic simplicities it doesn't come with, but I guess that's also part of what they were selling at
Yeah,
the
it's
time.
like box tube chassis.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing really significant about it underneath.
And it's like raw, like they wanted it to be a raw experience. And
Oh, it's super raw.
so a lot of guys crashed these things just because of, again, the kind of chassis it had and the amount of power you had. And also whenever you stepped out of the car, the exhaust, you have to look out for
Brands you in the
burning
back
your
of the
legs.
leg.
So, so yes, that has happened. Have you had any experiences with Vipers, Rob, or no?
No, I haven't. Unfortunately, I wish I could say I did. I'm in love with the cars. I think they're super cool.
Yeah, I'd love Vipers.
I hate the Gen 1 styling.
Yeah,
I hate it.
yeah. Even
But I love the Gen 4 and later.
yeah, Gen 4 is one of my Gen 4 and Gen 5. Yeah,
I just
Gen
like
5
I'm
is
obsessed with them. They're so
so beautiful,
freaking cool, man.
They're so mean.
What's our customers? What's his
4.
gen? His is a 4. Yeah,
I love
and
that
so
car.
we did a bunch of work to that, and it was just like, oh man, this car is so dope.
Yeah.
like it's not wide bodied or anything crazy radical like that. It's just a really nice, clean example. We did some
it's-
nice things to it, and I'm just looking at it and just like, damn. when you just see it sitting there, it's just like, oh, that's nice, dude.
Still shit inside.
Yeah.
It's another one of those cars
Yeah.
where it's like you get inside and it's like half the switch gear is like out of a PT Cruiser, the other half's out of a Dodge Caravan.
Yeah, parts bin, Chrysler.
And it's like so terrible and cheap inside, which it would be cool to get one and do the inside out the way the outside is.
Well, see, that's kind of what makes me think. Like on the topic of a Viper, it sucks. I would think it would suck to own it because we're of the type of people that like to customize things, and with that, like you just touched on, you'd basically want to reinvent the whole interior, like completely reinvent the whole thing. Put some quality stuff in there, like electronics, switch gear, like just everything, like all the tactile, components that you have to put your hands on and use and feel and push. You want those to feel good, and they just do not feel good the way they are. And I feel like that car just sucks.
It's pretty
just
tough.
for that thing right there.
Yeah.
All the plastic panels, they creak, and it's just junk.
Yeah.
Shifter
It's
placement,
junk.
all that
that
stuff
sucks.
is bad.
I haven't driven one before, so I wouldn't know, but I desperately want one. Like to drive it and to just own it, just because of what it is, and they don't make it anymore.
I think we'll probably have one at some point.
Yeah.
That'll be a project car at some point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That would be sick. That would be so. If you want to see us with a Viper, like and subscribe
to our channel. And,
watch all the things so we can get that
Make it happen
YouTube
faster.
YouTube moolah.
Yeah, we want to do some things with that.
Yes. And so, next car on the list, because I'm sure you guys also have experience with this, is the Mercedes-Benz in general from 1992 to 1997. They are known for having biodegradable wiring harnesses.
Can you imagine, like, the heads of the company come together? You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna design a wiring harness that will just biodegrade.
Apparently, it's
Did one of
delicious
the
to
higher ups
rodents,
go,
too.
"Oh yeah,
it is
that's gonna-"
delicious. I guess that.
What?
It's delicious.
I heard they
to
made it out of
rodents.
soy product. Is that
Yeah,
right?
some kind of soy-based thing that apparently is
Oh.
equivalent to like chocolate.
Yo.
Oh,
That's
see,
pretty amazing.
We lost one.
We
had a
did.
shop van that was, what was it, a 97 V230, like a Vieno, like we didn't get them in Canada, so we
like
imported
a Vito or
a
something.
Vito. We imported it out of Japan, and I got into it one morning because we had it parked out in front of the shop. I got in and I turned the key, and then right away the seat started powering towards the dash. The windshield wiper started going, and then I could
Oh,
smell
no.
gas really bad. And I was like, "Cool, shut this thing off, get out." And then the rat had got up onto the firewall and ate all the wiring, so it was all touching together.
Oh,
so
no.
the seat was mangled. Is spraying. The fuel line came up over the thing, over the top of the cowl, so it was spraying gas on the windshield.
What?
While all these wires are crisscrossing under it. Was they ended up writing it off?
The
insurance wrote it off.
ICBC wrote the
Oh
vehicle
my
off from rodent damage.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it didn't catch a fire or anything, though.
No, fortunately not.
Oh.
No, and I think that same rodent got into my M5 too.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, not near.
But
as
yours
bad.
is yours is not yours is
No,
not
mine-
delicious.
I replaced a few things, but I almost wonder if they made this stuff out of soy still.
What the heck? That's insane. I'm still curious to know why they did that, but that causes so many electrical problems, and a lot of those cars, that's also why they end up being so cheap, because of that very problem. So they're riddled with electrical issues. And so I feel like, but I also really like that generation, like styling wise.
awesome.
I don't know.
So like if
really
you're a
like
shop
them.
like ours, or like you're a competent DIYer, like standalone wiring harness,
Yeah.
ECU, do the whole thing, just fully commit.
But that's
A lot of it, they make replacement harnesses. But
Oh, they do?
To
Oh.
do a harness though is like it's a major undertaking.
Oh yeah, in a car like
So
that.
you can
for
get
sure.
those cars pretty cheap, but you're gonna spend some real time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it blows my mind that Mercedes would do that. But this was Mercedes back then. I think they were going through some identity crisis before they became. I mean, they were great, then not good, and then now they're back. I feel like to being good again. But yeah,
And would they counter all that with the 4x4 squared?
I know.
It's like, we're trying to be environmentally friendly. Nah, fuck it, it's not working out.
Yeah.
Here's the 722 and a 4x4 squared.
And the 6x6.
Yeah,
I
back
just
to
love that thing, man. Oh my gosh. Speaking of, we're going off topic a little bit. Speaking of 6x6, have you guys seen that guy that's building the 6x6, a Hummer or something?
Oh, yeah.
Like a H1.
That is an obscene amount of work, and I know who you're talking about. But it's just, I don't get it.
You don't? Why?
I don't know, because I feel like, yeah.
Say it, Tim. What do you have? I feel like you're not saying something. Or you're like,
No, I just think it's stupid.
really?
I've seen his other stuff and it's crazy, and now this is what, like a Hellcat powered,
Yeah, mid-engine.
slammed 6x6 Hummer,
It's a lot of things.
like an H1.
Yeah, going
And it
into
looks,
one.
I don't understand what he's trying to accomplish with it, but it's like he's done a really nice job of it. Like, it looks like his fabrication ability is definitely there, but I don't know what the hell he's doing with it. But I mean, go to it.
This man has lost his mind.
I mean, that's where we are with our years project. People that say that, like, you guys are dumb. You guys are stupid for attempting this.
What is wrong with you?
But yeah, I feel like with every time I see that truck on Instagram, I'm like, it doesn't make sense, but at the same time, it makes sense if you want to be unique and different. Because if you think about all the things you can do with building a truck, they've almost all been done.
Like the Euroho project, it is stupid.
Yes.
It's dumb and it makes absolutely no sense, but I can go drive over shit and have fun with it. That thing, I don't understand what its purpose is.
The 6x6, you can drive over anything you want to.
Yeah, but it's slammed.
If it's slammed, you're not driving over.
Is it going to be like that? I don't know if it's going to be like that in the end.
Slammed, and it's on like semi wheels or like 22-inch, transport wheels looking things.
Did you guys see the 6x6 that Brad DeBerti built?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. No.
Dude, oh,
Yeah, I've seen it.
amazing. But it's 6x6 with all the axles and all the diffs and everything. And so it functions like 6, and he drifts in it and stuff.
Yeah.
So, and it's like massive tires and wheels.
Oh,
and,
is that the 50s Ford?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
Chevy or Ford. I don't know. What
Chevy
it
or
is.
Ford.
Yeah.
Some kind of
I don't know.
50s
One of those. Yeah.
Yeah, that thing's crazy though.
Yeah. So
That
I'm
makes sense,
thinking that's probably where he got the idea from, and he wants to replicate that,
that's
but
a
in
very
his own
clear
way.
direction when he built that. Like, you can see what he's doing.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas this one, I don't know exactly what he's doing. If that's what he's going for, then
I feel like
cool.
it's the same thing.
It seems odd to me that someone would choose something like a Hummer H1 that is renowned, like fucking. Its purpose in life is to be the ultimate off-road
Off-roader.
vehicle, and turning it into on-road specific.
It'd be a terrible drift vehicle.
It would be
he stretched
horrible.
this thing.
You never
probably,
know. What if it's
He stretched it
Yeah, it's
like 10 feet, I think.
It's like a new chassis. It's a custom chassis, though.
But
so.
like, it's kind of disappointing because I mean,
Why?
it sounds like he's just trying
And I
to
don't
be
know
the
if he
first.
powered
He's just
the rear diff either.
want to be one of the firsts.
yeah, it's like I
And
don't
for
think I've
what
ever seen
purpose?
that for purpose.
Yeah,
I don't know.
for being the
That's
first.
straight up content
Yeah.
creation.
Yeah, but it's a cool idea. So I feel like he's killing it now because it's like that he thought about that for not really first, but it's a combination of a bunch of ideas.
Yeah.
Of putting it, because even the mid-engined truck thing that has been done. Like I think Larry Chen.
Everything's
Yeah.
been done.
Yeah, Larry Chen did a video on it. The guy that did like a mid-engined LS powered Corvair wagon thing. Have you guys
and
seen that?
vans,
Yeah.
and all the
so
things
that
all
has
the
been
time.
done. So the
Yeah.
engine was behind him and all of that. So I feel like it's a culmination of a bunch of
Yeah.
stuff. So I mean, more power to him.
No, I think it's really cool, and like Tim said, like the execution is really nicely done. So I mean, that's cool to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like a hacked together thing. Like, it's nice, but I mean,
You don't know the point?
No.
I
Or
don't understand the point. Like, I don't know.
same with our Euro. What's the
Yeah, but at
point?
the end of the day, we can go,
Drive it actually
drive
and use it.
butt it, and do whatever we want with it. Whereas
Yeah.
that one, I just don't know what it's going to be good for.
It might be good to offer. I don't know. It might be.
It's got street tires on it.
This person might ask the same question about the Evil Evo too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I guess so. You haven't driven it anywhere.
Yeah, I don't care.
I mean,
It's
do your
fun.
thing.
Yeah, so
Do-
he might
do
be
it
doing
well.
a
I can
similar thing.
appreciate that he's doing it well.
Yeah.
And I may change my mind when I see it when it's finished, but he's doing a really nice job.
Yeah.
With it.
Yeah, I'm curious to know if it's going to be at SEMA or not. So,
No, I think he's overseas.
oh, he is?
Yeah,
oh,
I think
okay.
he's like based out of the UK or something.
wow.
Interesting.
So I kind of doubt that he'd have to be on a boat right now.
You never know. He might be posting
Could
all that
happen.
content in advance.
Possible.
He's SEMA crunching in a
In a
container
boat.
right
In a container on a ship on the way over here.
Oh my God. That's actually pretty funny to think about that.
We've all joked about it.
Yeah.
Finishing it in the
In
trailer.
the trailer,
Oh,
yeah. I'm betting that has probably happened at some point to someone's SEMA build
I don't
before.
think until you've ridden in the trailer that you realize just how unfeasible that would actually
Motion sickness.
be. Yeah, everything
'Cause
is
you can't
very much
see.
exaggerated in the trailer.
I don't think there's anybody that's out there that's built anything would ever want to be building something with final finishes while moving.
You're
On the
wrenching.
road.
You're like, oh shoot.
No, you don't do that.
Yeah. But I think that's pretty much all the cars I had. We have this Datsun here. I don't think it sucks to own because it's
No.
like it's cheap. I mean,
No,
it's-
I just put the Datsun over here close to me because it makes me smile.
yeah, because your Datsun is also. I mean, it's not. a
This
pain
is about
to own,
the
but-
closest thing that I'm going to be driving to a Datsun for a couple of years, I think.
Yeah, it's because your Datsun is in like 2 billion pieces
Yeah.
for now, but hopefully soon we will get to it, and it'll be
Maybe
amazing.
SEMA 2024.
4, yes, amen to that.
We'll
So,
see.
Yeah, that
Let's see how many subscribers and shares we get on these videos, and we'll see what happens.
Yes,
Yeah, you guys got to help the cause.
You guys got to help us out, man.
Yes,
And we
it's
can
expensive.
only build awesome shit.
Yeah,
Exactly.
because that's what we've been talking about lately. We want to just build awesome shit.
Yeah. And so with that said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Awesome. Okay.
Don't be a hoe. Share the
Subscribe
show.
to Euroho. That's like a tagline now. Oh my goodness. But yes, we will see you guys next week. If you know of any other cars that suck, that are really cool, but they suck to own, comment in the comment section below. And with that said, bye.